started breathing on the night we kissed, and I can't remember what I ever did before. What would we do, baby, without us? What would we do, baby, without us? And there ain't no nothing we can't love each other through. What would we do, baby, without us? Sha-la-la-la. What's going on? Sha-la-la-la. What's up? Welcome to a very special afternoon of Boobs and No Booze, because we are doing a little bit of kombucha. Yeah. So I've been putting my lives back, my schedules back, because I've been doing shit, such as, possibly having different career aspects, and then, helping friends out and doing all that fun stuff. So I figured, it's a fall Saturday afternoon. Oh, yes, happy fall, you know, fall equinox. Um, yeah. All right. So there's been a lot of stuff going on, huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, let's do a little bit of news and politics and first so I can get the hate writ and the rants out. Uh let's see. So what's going on in the news? So this week there's the crisis that is going on with our Haitian brothers and sisters down in Texas. So a lot of those, unfortunately, those Haitian refugees did come from Latin America, who had left Haiti after the earthquake that happened in, I believe, 2009 or 2010. And so a lot of them were working down in, hi, Ready Red. Hello. Um, that's from earlier, Beasley. And so basically, they're being pushed out, and then they got pushed up to the border where we now are seeing our people, our brothers and sisters from the diaspora getting flown out to a country that is broken, broken because of corruption, not colonization, but the fact that Haiti, because this is the first Black nation of this hemisphere, 1804. And so ever since then, Haiti has been paying, I'm going to say reparations, but they've been paying France back, knowing damn well that I mean, it was set up by design for this country to fail. But anyway, so this administration is continuing the same foreign policy toward immigrants as the last administration did. And I was no fan of that administration, and I am no fan of this administration. Now, did I vote for Jim Crow Joe? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Yes, I did. Do I have any regrets? I had no choice to have a regret. I put my money mostly on Bernie, but yeah, I had to vote for this asshole now. No. They've been flying planes in and out of the Texas-Mexico border just nonstop. I think we're down to I think 8,000 now. Let's see. I want to get the I want to read. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to read from the AP News, this is American Press. So this is news that I trust somewhat. Always get second sources. So we all know about the photo, that shocking, horrible photo that came out this week that reminded us that slavery is not that far gone. The the evil being whipping one of our people of the diaspora, just horrifying. And yeah, I get emotional when I see this photo. I just it just But so this is from the AP News. This came out on let's see, yesterday. So this is on a special envoy to Haiti resigns over migrant explosions. So you have people now resigning due to the fact of this is just all a clusterfuck. And what this administration is doing is they're not doing they're doing the same white supremacist work by pushing these people out when they have no place else to go to. I mean, the president was just assassinated this summer, and there was another earthquake. So now they have no homes to return to. There's no jobs. Let's not even talk about the economy there. Like it's like going back home to a war-torn country. But anyway, let me go on with this article. The Biden administration special envoy to Haiti resigned in protest of inhumane large scale expulsions of Haitian migrants to their homeland as it wrecked by civil strife and natural disaster, U.S. officials said. Daniel Foote was appointed to the position only in July. That's after the Haitian president's assassination. Um, Following the assassination of President Jovenel Moise, even before the migrant expulsion from the small Texas border town of Del Rio, the career diplomat was known to be deeply frustrated with what he considered a lack of urgency in Washington and the glacial pace on efforts to improve conditions in Haiti. Foote wrote Secretary of State Blinken that he was stepping down immediately with deep disappointing apologies for those seeking crucial changes. I will not be associated with the United States' inhumane, counterproductive decision to deport thousands of Haitian refugees and illegal immigrants to Haiti, a country where American officials are confined to secure compounds because of the danger posed by armed gangs to daily life, he wrote. Our policy approach to Haiti remains deeply flawed, and my policy recommendations have been ignored, dismissed, and when not edited to a project, a narrative different from my own. The State Department criticized Foote for resigning as a critical juncture and pushed back against suggestions that his policy prescriptions were overlooked. This is a challenging moment that requires leadership, spokesman Ned Price said in a written statement. It is unfortunate that instead of participating in solutions-oriented policies process, Special Envoy Foote has both resigned and mischaracterized the circumstances of his resignation. See, right there, because that's the State Department, so that's the Biden administration. Right there, they're basically saying no. Foote basically, instead of him like not sticking it through with us, he's just they're trying to point him to be kind of selfish and self-centered, and you know, you, basically everyone you see what the State Department is trying to say about Mr. Foote. So let me continue. I've talked about this so much, so you have to bear with me, you guys. My two people who are watching me. Don't worry, this will get funner. I just got to break some news, y'all. We gotta have a little bit of a conversation and some intelligent shit before we get down to some fuckery. Let's see. Foote's departure. Oh, excuse me. Let's go back. He added that the role of the president's advisors is to prove him with the best possible advice. No idea are ignored, but not all ideas are good ideas, Price said. Foote's sudden departure leaves a void in the U.S. policy toward Haiti. U.S. Ambassador Michelle Sisson is expected to depart soon after being nominated to serve another State Department post, and adds another critical voice to the administration response to Haitians camped at the Texas border. Criticism has been fueled by images that went viral this week of the Border Patrol on horseback using aggressive tactics towards, we're not going to say aggressive tactics, we're going to say we saw him, I don't know, looks like he was whipping. Yes, I know technically it wasn't a whip, but let's get serious here. Um, sorry, I just, the way sometimes these media affiliates really kind of gloss up and pretty beautiful, that's not a word. They pretty up things, to make it look not as harsh. Democrats and pro yeah, Ready Red, this is in your backyard, dude. This is our people of the diaspora. So, see, I'm reaching out. So, let's see. So, we're just talking about the Border Patrol agents on horseback using aggressive tactics against migrants. Democrats and many pro immigration groups say the effort to expel thousands of Haitians, thousands, by the way, um, without giving them a chance to seek asylum violates American principles. And that is indeed true. The fact that we allow a ton of people into this country, we allow refugees in this country. That's what this country was built on. I mean, technically it was built on theft, colonialism, and slavery. But these are, I believe, only 14,000 people, but it's shrunk. So let me get to this paragraph. So the migrant camp has shrunk considerably since surpassing more than 14,000 people on Saturday. That was last Saturday, with many of them expelled and many others released into the U.S. with notices to report to immigration authorities. The expulsion flights to Haiti begin Sunday, and there were by 10 at the end of Tuesday. According to Haitian officials, U.S. officials say they are ramping up 7 flights a day, which would make it one of the swiftest, larger scale expulsion of the United States in decades. In other words, let's hurry up and get these Negroes out of here. Again, we seek this country brings refugees from war-torn countries, but unfortunately, a lot of those war-torn countries have something to offer the United States. Oil? I don't know. Something, because we are the United States of capitalist America. Mm. Mm. All right, finish this off. I'm getting angry reading this. At least one top official in Haiti cheered Foot's resignation while accusing the Biden administration of violating the rights of Haitian migrants. This is the first time we see a U.S. diplomat who has decided to go against the will of the U.S. government. Mathis Pierre, Haitian's election minister, told the Associated Press. We salute that. Pierre also criticized Haiti's elite, saying they have turned a blind eye because migration fuels the economy. He noted that 35% of Haitians' gross domestic product uh, is remittance with the diaspora, much of it in the U.S. Oh goodness, sending roughly 3.8 billion a year. Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry has barely discussed the expulsion in public, saying, "Why didn't they just refugee to the DR?" Because the DR, the Dominican Republic, because the Dominican Republic does not have the funds to go to handle these people. Do you know that? Yes, it's right next door. Just because you're a country right next door doesn't mean it's going to be easy to afford thousands of people to come into a small country that is smaller. I mean, they're about the same size. So, yeah, and I mean, why can't we take them here? What is 14,000 people? What is 13,000 people? That's nothing. And we know why they don't want these people here. It's because they come from the diaspora. And Rage, I would suggest, If you know anything about the island of Hispaniola and some of the history that has happened on that island, I suggest you read up about it, and you probably understand why the DR doesn't probably want to take Haiti because they've been going back and forth. And actually, Haiti, or no, excuse me, Dominican Republic sent some of the Haitians back to Haiti who were Dominican citizens. So that's also going on too. And Mexico is also broke. Yeah, we're not broke. The rage. America's not broke. So I don't. I mean, I see where you're going. I'm not going there with you. I'm not. Especially, I mean, how dare anyone say like, why don't you send them someplace else? Well, I can say the same thing for a lot of people that come to this country. Well, why didn't you choose the UK instead? Why'd you choose the United States? Come on, dude. Let's have a better philosophical conversation than that. I trust me. Read up on it. And Mexico has a little bit more money than in contrast to the DR, and it's larger. But let me continue. Let me finish this off. Um, while they're receiving thousands of Afghan people, they're rejecting Haitians while Haiti is in the middle of a crisis with the earthquake, a crisis with the assassination of the president, a poverty crisis that is clearly one of the major issues why people are leaving, Pierre said. Foot served, Foot served previously in Haiti as a deputy chief of a mission and a former ambassador of Zambia. In his new position, he worked with the U.S. ambassador to support Haiti after the president's assassination. For four weeks, he had been quietly pushing into Washington to plan to boost U.S. security assistance to Haiti. Oh, by the way, going back, we are getting thousands of Afghan refugees, which I'm okay for too, because we should get those people. These are the people that helped translate, that helped with a lot of the military, the American military. So yeah, I think they should come too. And I also think the Haitians should come too. There's populations that are dying all over the country, right? You know, I mean, we got plenty of land. Anyway, I'm not one of those people I'm not one of those nationalists that tell people to not come, especially when there's a crisis like this. And I better not get anybody in my chat that says, "Well, they're going to take our jobs." Those are Fox News talking points. Those are people who don't read. When someone is asked to task with Haiti policy at the highest level, resigns become recommendations are ignored and dismissed. It's not only troubling, but shows you this administration does not tolerate anyone who won't go along with their distorted views of facts, says Damian Merlot, a Republican strategist. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See, Dooms, you're handing the plateau right to the GOP. You're handing it to them. You're handing it to them. Punk ass Democrats and racist ass. Both parties are racist, but at least the Republicans have some kind of, well, they don't have a spine either. What am I saying? They all worship one guy who paints his skin orange, for Pete's sake. We're fucked. Let's see. A Republican strategist who has worked for years on Haiti policy, it should be Haitian policy, and is now a registered lobbyist for the country's government. Dan Foote is a world-class diplomat who refuses to be told what to do. I wish more foreign service officers would had his courage and stand up to call their bosses. See, I knew this guy was going to say something stupid. So, oh, everyone. So everyone can come here and then we will be broke. That's not how it works. I'm talking about refugees. I didn't say anything about open borders, did I? I said refugees. Refugees have to get a go into the State Department and they have to be logged in. I'm not talking about people just crossing over the border and say, "Okay, I'm here. Time to go get a job." Not I don't think you guys know how immigration works, and especially when it comes to refugees. That's not how it goes. You have to get processed. Yeah, yeah. No one said it. You're talking that open border so everybody can come here. That's not, see, you don't know how to comprehend or hold a conversation. So I'm going to ignore you. God, I knew there's so many unintelligent fucks on YouTube. I swear. Like I was just listening to a panel this morning on I think it was Nyla Says channel. And I mean, just some of the dialogue it was someone that she was playing. They were talking about the P word. And ju- just, I don't think a lot of people know how to comprehend. Like these people that was, she was playing on the panel because it wasn't her panel. This one gentleman in particularly who kept saying something about like, well, if the law says that, they if they could be 14 years old, you know, I don't see the problem with it. It just, I don't want to get into the whole thing of what I heard, but what I'm trying to say is the comprehension skills suck amongst a lot of people, I've noticed, you know. So anyway, so that is one of the big stories of this week. That's one that really drawn me in, um, because we have a lot of people. And another thing I noticed on these YouTube streets that we have a lot of xenophobic people who call themselves conscious or they're part of the ADOS. Xenophobia is another form of white supremacy, right? You're using white supremacists' own tactics to go against your own people. Just because they don't live on American soil doesn't mean they still don't share the same Black experience. So here's another fun fact for you ignorant morons who are xenophobes towards your own in the diaspora. Just remember that boat ride over here, the Middle Passage, didn't just stop in the colonies. It didn't just stop here in the States. The first boat drop was in the islands here of this hemisphere, was in the island of Hispaniola, yes, where the DR and Haiti reside, in the island of what we know now as Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Latin America, Mexico, and the United States got the same amount of Africans. That would be 13%. Who got the largest again of that boat ride? Well, it wasn't the United States. I think I recall it was Brazil, which is in South America. So miss me with that. Read a fucking book and stop with the xenophobia, you ignorant white supremacist, apologist, black colored people. Oh, I can't stand people. Oh, I can't stand my own when they take these white supremacist ideologies and don't even realize you're using it against your own folks. Jesus. All right, moving on. See, I knew I was going to get hot about this story, and I knew someone was going to say something stupid like the rage, and I just get really, into we live in a society where we have information and books, so you can look up things on your little computers, and you can also go to the library, which is still free. So anyway. Mm, love my kombucha. Um, Another story that caught my attention, excuse me, this week was the conversation finally got started again about missing white women syndrome. Um, let's see. I'm looking. Here we go. So we'll go local. So we were talking. Famous journalists came up with the. Was called missing white woman syndrome. I forgot the name of the journalist who came up with that, but I'll look it up. So this is. Oh no. So we all know the story about the Gabby Petito case. So, of course, she was a popular YouTuber. I don't know if they've caught the boyfriend, but he's been on the run. But this story about Gabby Petito has been going on for about almost 2 weeks, I believe now. Um, and now people are finally starting to talk about missing white woman syndrome and the role in the media and how it's played. Now, we know, and statistically, Black and Indigenous women are ignored completely out of the media. Um, we'll go to so I'm going to read. This is from Good Morning America. So, in the 2 weeks since Gabby Petito went missing while a cross country trip with her boyfriend, who possibly killed her, the Petito case has made news headlines and gone viral online, with people everywhere trying to find clues and solve the case themselves, adding to the intrigue of Petito's case and large media footprint she left behind as she documented her cross country travel with her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, who probably killed her. Josiah. Um, Officials confirmed on Tuesday that the body found over the weekend near Grand Teton National Park does belong to the 22-year-old Petito. But the national fascination with the case continues as authorities search for Laundrie, currently a person in interest. It is fascination that the families of other missing people, particularly women of color, say they wish they had turned to their loved ones. They wish to tune to their own loved ones' cases. Everybody who is missing loved ones is saying, "Why isn't my case done like that?" said Paula Cosby Hill. It's very hard because it takes you back to when your child went missing. Um, Kosi Hill's then 16-year-old daughter, Shamika Kosi, disappeared without a trace near her home in St. Louis, Missouri. That's where I'm from. That's scary. Oh, I'm good for now until somebody messes with me. Thank you, Josiah. Um, she would disappeared without a trace near her home in St. Louis, Missouri, just a few days after Christmas in 2008. I didn't know about this case. That's my hometown. I didn't know about this. This case is 12 years old. Why didn't it get any coverage? Moving on. She described watching the search of the Petito unfold as an emotional roller coaster since she has both grieved for the Petito family and reflected on what did not happen in the aftermath of her daughter's disappearance. All the questions that weren't answered with my daughter, I'm checking to see if they're going to do that in this case, said Cosby Hill. When you report your loved one missing, you hear, "We'll try to get someone on this." And they act like if they don't have enough manpower to do it. But as you can see, they have enough manpower to do it, she said. They just choose which cases they want to do it to. Natalie Wilson, co-founder of Black and Missing Foundation, an online search agency that helps search specifically for missing Black and Hispanic children, and said minority children who go missing are often classified as runaways, which can lead to less media attention and less help from law enforcement. Minority adults who go missing are often stereotyped as being involved in crimes of violence, poverty, addiction, which takes attention away from their cases too. Meaning, our bodies and our lives aren't given a damn to even search just another dead Negro. That's what I get from that. There's frustration, there's sadness, she said, of the people she works with who are searching for their missing loved ones. We are meeting families at the worst points in their lives. They are frustrated because they're not getting help from the law enforcement, or they're frustrated because they're not getting media coverage. At the end of 2020, the FBI had over 800,000 active missing persons cases, and 45% of those were people of color. According to the FBI's National Crime Information Center, only about one-fifth of missing persons cases involving minorities are covered in the news, according to 2016 analysts published in the Journal of Criminal Law and Criminology. I think it's often sometimes the media and even law enforcement that can show that minority lives are not as important. What I just say. We have to remember that these are mothers and daughters and fathers and children that are missing, and they are definitely needed and valued in our communities. The historic tendency of national attention to gloss over cases of missing people of color was dubbed Missing White Woman Syndrome by Gwen Eiffel, the late PBS anchor. That's her name. I used to watch her on I think Newsline at night on PBS. She was a great journalist, great journalist. I loved her. Uh, RIP to her. Many years later, the term coined by IFL still applies in the US. According to Wilson, who noted the effort to publicize missing persons of color is not meant to divert resources, but to simply equal the playing field. We've been sounding the alarm for close to 14 years that this is an issue, and we need to have that conversation of all of us as to how we can change the narrative, she said. We're not surprised by the publicity or the reaction to the Petito's disappearance. And we are also hoping for working to keep our missing in the forefront as well. Marcus Dulutat of Riverside, California said she was too not surprised by the reaction to Petito's disappearance, but said it brought up emotions of hurt and heartbreak. Uh, Dulate and her family have spent nearly 9 months searching for her sister, Maya Malate, a mother of three who disappeared from her home in Chula Vista, California in January. Malate's husband was named a person of interest in her disappearance in July. Even before the Gabby case was out there, I felt that maybe if we were white or with money or had names, we probably would have gotten a different approach, more help and support, says Julia. I'm trying to pronounce her name correctly. The last name, Drulante. I think that's it. Whose family moved to the U.S. from the Philippines when Malate was 2. That's how I feel that hurts. Uh, let's see. Where was I? Oh, here we go. Every missing person deserves to be a headline, she says. We have to put awareness out there and seek help from the public because it's not a lot of times the public are the ones that help solve the case. In Wyoming, where Petito was missing and where her body was found, a state task force released a report in January on missing and murdered indigenous people. While 21% of indigenous people, who are mostly girls, remain missing for 30 days or longer, only 11% of white people remain missing that long, according to a report. The report also found that 30% of indigenous missing and murdered people made the news compared to 51% white people. When coverage was done of indigenous victims, it was most likely to contain violent language, portray the victim in a negative light, and and provide less information. In other words, using stereotypes. The same thing that they do with us, victimizing the victim, showing like a mug shot, or this person had a drug and alcohol abuse problem, so they deserve not to get the attention. Continuing. Families of missing Black Americans fight the media, police, fight for media police to focus on their loved ones in cases. Kara Boyle Chambers, director of the Division of Victim Services in Wyoming's Attorney General's office, said Petito case has echoed the reports of findings. It's highly exactly what we have pointed out. The disproportionate, very positive response to Gabby's story versus a lot of other families who don't have that attention and don't have to uh, and don't have that closure that came. In the scheme of things, relatively quickly, Boyle Chambers said, we have families that are 20, 30 years of no answers and no remains to bury and no sense of closure. Boyle Chambers, who pointed out that two men went missing in June in the same area Petito was last seen, said officials in Wyoming have worked since the reports released to improve collection of missing persons and criminal justice data. The Petito cases also confirmed the importance of galvanizing media attention, excuse me, including social media. Reading so fast. Social media, excuse me, galvanizing media attention, including social media. I think this is the biggest takeaway too from Gabby's case. This is how important the role of social media and people are out there helping to locate her, she said. There are more eyes you have on it, better, which is why we're having the whole conversation. Wilson of Black and Missing Foundation says individual people can make a difference by sharing alerts about missing people and talking about missing persons cases involving minorities in particular. We all have a responsibility, and that is the law enforcement, the media, and the community, she said. You just have one tip, and it can solve a case. So that was the what up, Mr. Sims? So this was from the AP, or excuse me, Good Morning America, talking about missing white woman syndrome. Um, and I'm glad that this was brought up again because there's also a large I want to get the statistics of sex trafficking amongst especially amongst women, minority women. um let's see. Let's see. ah let's see, sex trafficking statistics. Okay, so this is from the Canadian broadcast, CBC. Oh, what's going on here? So I'm trying to look for the 57.5% of all juvenile prostitute arrests are Black children. 57%. There is a 2-year review of all suspected human trafficking incidents across the country. 40% of sex trafficking victims were identified as Black women. In an interview with the Urban Institute, traffickers admittedly believe trafficking Black women would land them less jail time than trafficking white women if they were caught. So they find it much more easier to traffic Black women because they feel like they would get, our bodies don't matter, right? Um, Trafficking can also uh, linen and trafficking and the trafficker relationship. Research conducted showed that this is from 2012 that around 85% of those were bought sex on the internet were white men. In Pennsylvania, 22% of arrests were for purchasing sex, but only 78% of prostitution arrests are for selling sex. And then it goes into the social economic status. Black girls are most likely to experience poverty than their racial counterparts. Traffickers tend to target individuals with Black women with low social economic status due to unemployment, debt, and the need to provide themselves and their children. Many victims are less likely to leave the situation that makes make ends meet. And then we're going to the sexual abuse factor. Black girls are more likely to experience sexual and physical abuse than their racial counterparts. Women who experience partner violence pose a higher risk of being sex trafficked or women who call the national hotline. 38%, 36.9% were trafficked by their partners. Along with the psychological and economical abuse, sex traffickers are likely to employ physical and sexual violence over women to maintain control. Woo, some heavy shit. Um, so it kind of ties into the fact of, everything that I'm talking about with the whole case of the Gabby Petito, the missing white woman syndrome. But we have also in our community a large, large issue with sex trafficking in our community. And it's being ignored. It's not getting any media shine. But there is something that positive that happening. There's this is the last sad story, y'all. uh, it's about a missing man. He's a geologist. Oh, it's Jelani Day. I don't know if you guys have heard the story about Jelani Day. So he was a brother who was a grad student. He was working as a geologist. I believe he's in med school. And now after the Gabby Peto thing, the whole, everyone was talking about, well, what about these missing people in the Black community or in the Indigenous community or in the Latin community? So now people are speaking up about these missing young adults and children because we've been ignored. This story made me cry. So this is coming from NPR. Jelani Day's body is identified a month after the grad student went missing. So this is a Black brother. The search of Jelani Day is officially over as the coroner's office in LaSalle County, Illinois, identified the body found in the river as Day found in the river. The Illinois State University grad student had been missing since August 24th, and the cause and circumstance of his death are being investigated. Day, who was 25, had been living in Bloomington, where he had aspired to be a doctor. 2 days after his disappearance, his car was found in Peru, a small town hour north of Bloomington. And there is nothing in Peru, Illinois. I've driven through that place. Ain't nothing there. And you don't want to stop there. The white Chrysler 300 was spotted in a wooded area south of Illinois Valley YMCA. Inside the car were clothes that Day had been wearing when he was last seen. 9 days after Day's car was found, authorities discovered his body in the Illinois River after his search triggered a tip from member station WGTL reports. The coroner used dental records and DNA analysis to identify the body, Bloomington police said. Day's relatives had previously submitted DNA samples to aid the search. There were no words to clearly communicate our devastation, Day's family said in the statement. Our hearts are broken. Day's case recently gained prominence as his mom and Carmen Bolden Day called for the authorities to show the same attention and urgency in her son's case as they had for Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old white woman who went missing and was found later dead. Bloomington police had said Day went missing in unexpected, suspicious circumstances. We mentioned that in one of the articles. They'll say, oh, maybe, he's putting it basically, oh, he ran away. That's, they're brushing it off with that stick. As the agency confirmed the recovery of the man's body, it said toxicology testing will be undertaken in an attempt to learn how Day died. The last place they had been seen, police said, was at a store at Beyond Hello Cannabis dispensary chain. Identification of Day's body comes after weeks of uncertain dread as his family and friends wanted to hear from the coroner, who was in turn waiting for results from the police crime lab. I couldn't put myself in their shoes. It was just tough, said Bloomington Police. Okay, they're prettying this up. So I listened to the mother's story on Roland Martin. They interviewed her, and she was on CNN. And so, what this NPR story is not saying is the fact that how she was treated by the authorities. She was being ignored. They didn't take her, they didn't take the whole case seriously. She and her family and friends basically were being their own detectives to find Jelani. And it wasn't until, like she said, basically recently, that the story started gaining traction because she didn't hear from the coroners. The police weren't giving her any news, any clues. They just took it as another dead Negro. So what? You know, I think, and now I think they're trying to get the State Department, not State Department, um, FBI involved now too, because these state police and other small districts, they don't care. I mean, let's just face it. Our bodies don't matter. I'm glad that these cases are surfacing, but how long is this just going to be a trend for now? Like, is this going to is this is this something temporary? Are we just doing this? We're talking about these cases, and it's, and we're going to go back to the same thing of missing white women syndrome, and all the cases are being ignored. I mean, it's just trying not to I'm trying to conjure my words correctly. Is this going to be another trend like last summer with Black Lives Matter movement, but no legislation? Oh, we like black people, or like Instagram's going to have, if you're in solidarity with black people, make sure your screen is black on this Tuesday. Like, are we going to do that? Or are we going to do some legislation? Now, we know this administration ain't going to be doing much because the George Floyd Act, I don't think, is going to pass. Oh, I said this, that was going to be the last sad thing, didn't I? I said it was. Whoops. And the reason why it's not going to pass, the words qualified immunity is in there, which would hold the police officer accountable instead of the taxpayers. But that's not going to pass because you have assholes like Senator Manchin and Senator Kristen Sinema who say they are Democrats, but they work for their donors, who did not want to bust the filibuster. And without the filibuster, or with the filibuster, you have to get 10 Republicans to vote. Now, do you think any of those GOP would vote for the George Floyd Act? No, no. But I don't think Cinnamon or Mansion would either, and those people have a D in front of their name too. So I don't think. I mean, we got a problem in both parties, y'all. I mean, I'm hearing people talk about, oh well, Biden, he's like another Trump. Jim Crow Joe, he has his issues. Oh yeah, I do think that he has Probably like a racist bone there. I do. I do. Um, but do I think there's some white supremacy in the Democratic Party? Absolutely. But I'm not going to go over here and say that I'm going to switch over to the GOP because they're much better with our kind. Hell, they can't even have a policy, man. Like what is the GOP's what are their policies for middle class and working class people? Oh wait, they don't have one. All they have is they're going to take your guns, critical race theory, they're coming to take your jobs, um, and they are going to replace us. Then you have the Democrats on the other side. Now there is an umbrella for the Democratic Party. So you have your moderates, and moderates usually tend to be your corporatists, and then you have your progressives, which I lean on the progressive side. Um, so the moderates, aka corporatists, are about their donors because we know I believe it was Citizens United in 2009 made it as if money is speech. So, with that being said, legal bribery. So, what can you do? Well, if I'm Amazon and I want to donate money to this Democratic leader, but I don't want to pay taxes, don't you think if you put me in the office and you're giving me these campaign, you're funding my campaign, I'm going to vote. Well, I'm gonna vote where the money is because Amazon is giving me putting money in my pocket for my campaign. So of course I'm not gonna vote for higher wages and taxes on Amazon. They're bought. And here's the thing, there's some great policies on the progressive side. And people talk about, oh, the Green New Deal. Yeah, the Green New Deal is a great policy because it's like the New Deal with FDR, who was a Republican. Um, what it's basically just the 21st century version of the New Deal, but with climate change involved and higher wages and for corporate tax for corporations to pay taxes basically, man. Amazon doesn't pay taxes. Did you know that? Tesla, they don't pay taxes. But yet here you have these idiots going back and forth who say that, oh, I don't want a corporate handout. I'm going to work for mine. No socialism. You're not going to take my guns. Honey, your war should be with these people who ain't paying taxes. And that is people within the 1%, those people that you watch on Fox News and that pay their bills, like your Rupert Murdochs and what have you, they don't pay a lot in taxes. Your Amazons, your Walmarts don't, I think they pay a very, very low tax. So, yeah, think about these things. Do a little fucking research. Oh, what's up, Darren? I could have swore FDR was a Republican in 1929, or excuse me. You are right. I am such an asshole. You know what, Darren? My bad. He was a Democrat. I sometimes get thank you for correcting me on that. Eisenhower was a Republican. Eisenhower was the one that told everybody about the military complex in the machine and how it's going to destroy. Teddy, thank you. Thank you. But you know what? The reason why Eisenhower was a Republican because he was I'm about to repeat myself again. But Eisenhower did warn us about the military complex and how it's going to destroy us. And Eisenhower was the one that was the last time that um, I think the taxes were like at basically everyone paid taxes at that point. Corporations. Thanks. You rock too, man. Ooh. And buy this man's coffee. I need to get your he was Democratic. He was Democratic Socialist. Yes, Mr. Sims, I did. I stand corrected. Until he ran in 19, I believe he ran in 1952, because Truman lost to Eisenhower. Eisenhower had what, two terms? Um, yeah. Oh, by the way, Mr. Sims, yes, I stand corrected. Darren did check me on that, so thank you. Oh, and put yeah, that I do know, Mr. Sims. So I like to be corrected when I'm wrong too. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. And then I also like to double check too. So, because sometimes it's not always great to freestyle. Sometimes you better check your sources. Um, but yes, going back to what I was talking about with the Green New Deal, I mean, I am a democratic socialist because we are currently to have socialism. I mean, anyone heard of the word, I mean, Social Security? What's a public school? I mean, how do we get these highways and, these bridges? We, we already are kind of a democratic socialist country as it is. We just need health care. That, yeah. All right, let's see. I think I've been ranting for 57 minutes about politics. All right, I think I'm done with that. Let's have some fun now. I need to stretch out after this. Just God. All the fucking doom and gloom and just ah, get that negative energy out of there. Get it out. Get out. Get out. Oh man. Okay. So, what have I been watching on YouTube this week in the reality TV world of the black and the beef sector? And I already did politics, so uh oh, here's someone I can talk about. So of course I go on Buddy Lee's show because it's funny. And a lot of those people are really funny with the exception of Super Saiyan Jim. I mean Truck Stop Jim. That's what we're calling him. Um, and so there was a gentleman who decided to fly to Las Vegas to pull up on another gentleman. Now, I do not agree with these pull ups. I do not. I really find it juvenile and very weird that you have people over the age of 35 who are using their resources to fly or drive or take a Greyhound bus to pull up on someone. These people have kids. So I'm so this person who flew from a state in Ohio decided to fly to Nevada to pull up. Well, turns out that keyboard warrior who wanted to pull up rather just did a drive-by, said some let me reenact it. Reenacting the pull up and the words that were said. All right, then, come on, nigga. Come on. Shit, come on. Well, pull over then. Pull over. Come on, man. Come on. What? Huh? Come on, nigga. Come on. Come on. Come outside. Come outside. Why are you steadily in your car? Get out your car. Huh? What? Come on, nigga. I ain't afraid. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was this week's pull up. That was all that happened. Oh, now for the parties at hand, the party that flown themselves out to do this pull up, unfortunately, could not afford to pay for the car that he was pulling up on. Unfortunately, this person who decided to do the pull up decided to also film not only after the pull up of a sign of defeat, which is embarrassing. I mean, you shouldn't be doing this anyway. But also, you decided to film yourself at the renter car begging for your subscribers to donate to you so you can pay for your car fee. Why would you film that, man? There's already egg all over the face. Note to self, ladies and gentlemen, do not pull up on anybody. We're too goddamn old for this. Stick to just the shit on YouTube. It doesn't work out. Someone's gonna get killed. Who flies out just to go get a case in another state? Like, why would you want to deal with that? Who does that? Like, who goes to this place where you can gamble and there's plenty of parties and strip joints and cocaine? Like, why would you spend your vacation behind the cell? I just don't get it. But anyway, so this is a PSA. Do not pull up on people. It's really, really juvenile. And you're setting yourself up. It's dumb. That's right. On the fake pull ups. Right. It's pathetic, man. You're gonna let some words hurt you. I mean, and from what I've heard, the person that decided to fly out to pull up had been also this has been an ongoing thing that I did not know. And first of all, why would you film again? I just don't understand why you would film yourself. Um, let's my bong piper. I don't understand why you would film yourself at the rental car trying to make a deal with the employees at the rental car place establishment, excuse me, to say if they can work a deal with you because you can't afford to pay for your rental car. First of all, before you rent a car, what kind of car did you get? I mean, because that makes sense. I'm not going to order the most expensive car from a rent a car. I mean, why? So I can flash? It ain't my car. It's borrowed. I'm going to pay $600 for a couple of days for it wasn't $600, by the way. I'm just throwing that number out there. Um yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, LC, that video that he was showing previously, the hype video, he's hyped up for a pull up. Yeah, he was like, I mean, That may be true, but mm, it wasn't necessary. LC, do you see what I'm saying? He made this into a whole pull up thing by filming everything. So it kind of turns up into a pull up. So he made the trip, he didn't make the trip about meeting these people. And Clyde Diva, he had to pull up on one of his adversaries when a big adversary called him out in the same city. He was running 6'7", second adversary and got cold. Oh, yes, that's who I'm speaking about. The second adversary. Thank you. That was hype. LC, I would be hyping up, and I don't think him and Clyde Diva get along like that anyway. So I don't know where you're getting your information. I could be wrong. I mean, it is Clyde Diva. She'll forgive anybody for some dick. But maybe he should make it about wait, let's rewind what you just said. That was just hype. Let's read what you just said to me a moment ago. Sugar's not there for a pull up. He's there to schmooze a woman like he did. Okay, schmooze a woman like he did. Got it. Like. But if he's not there for a pull up and you're saying that was hype, so that means the masses think that this is a pull up. He made it seem like the whole vacation was for a pull up. See, that's why your sentence doesn't make sense, my dear. You you got to form that a little bit better, Sugar, because you're contradicting yourself. You see what I'm saying, LC? Yes, that's what I've heard, Mr. Sims. That's what I've heard. That this has been going back and forth for 2 years. The point is, dude, first of all, you don't ever film your crimes. That's Vastadas. I don't understand what's wrong with some of y'all people filming shit that you're going to do. You're saying these things, number one. Number two, you're filming them. And number three, you're okay with this. It's called self-snitching. I'm not even from the streets. I'm from the suburbs. And I even know better to film my crimes. I'm a fly out and film some shit and possibly get arrested. And that video that I filmed on myself doing the crime could land me a case. Yeah, that sounds really smart. I'm paying everything and I'm gonna pay my money and my body and time to be locked up in a white supremacist prison plantation system over some fuckery on YouTube. Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense to me. It sounds kind of retarded. I heard he is short. Yes, that's why I don't suggest anybody doing stuff like that. I wonder why he didn't film his altercation. That is a point. And here's what I have to say. Though I do not like the popo, and our tax dollars go to those slave catchers, I will call the popo. You goddamn right. If I have some man show up in my house because he can't handle the words that I say on YouTube, or a woman shows up because she can't handle the words on YouTube, I'll call the cops. Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, sure will. I am not too proud. Plus, this is Pinky. Pinky comes with me. Unfortunately, Pinky does not come on planes. But Pinky will shock the shit out of you and make you piss your pants. So, and I don't want to use Pinky, but I am not too proud to say I will use my tax dollars to call the popo on someone showing up in my crib. But I do not invite people to do so. and I don't think I drive anybody to do that, but some of these people on YouTube are fucking nuts. Pinky don't play. Yeah. Pinky don't play. I'm gonna have to charge Pinky too, because I'm gonna be going out later, so I don't trust people. So yes. But just these pull-ups, it kind of reminded me what happened this past early summer with the pull-up that the lady that has kids but has no kids, she took a Greyhound bus and drove to someone's home and was playing these games. It was the same thing, and filming it, and it's God gave y'all a brain. Y'all should use it. These pull-ups are stupid. And anyone who thinks it's okay, like truck stop Jim, he likes to throw like fly drones and stuff, and he drives to people's homes. Like, he's a weirdo. He ain't got no address. Um, but it's tacky. It's unattractive. It's juvenile, and that shit can get expensive. Meaning, when you have to pay that bail. Dumb, 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 dumb. Pull up. It's all for ego, all for pride, egos, likes, and views. It's like very high school. I thought we all, well, I think some of us graduated. I thought we all graduated from that level, but I guess a lot of us haven't. All right. What was some other stupid, dumb shit that I saw this week in the streets? Oh, Misty, 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 Misty. I didn't forget about you, bitch. See, last week I talked about a white supremacist RN whose name is Misty. She is out of Alabama. She was the white supremacist female who went on to a platform and then liked to use the N word. But her excuse was, my husband is black and my son is black, so I can use it. She was one of those. So, Misty, I ain't forget about you, you white supremacist bitch. But that happened last week. But her name did pop up again earlier this week. And so I'm hoping that people are distancing themselves. There seems to be a self hater that is still friends with her. I'm not familiar with this female's platform. I don't usually like to call women females unless I really don't like them. And to me, it's disrespectful. Um, please tell reach out and touch some of Ricky's. Give me a moment after I'll say this. So this person who is comfort up to this white supremacist Misty, she's a sister, but she's also a sister that allowed Misty to use the N word. I'm hearing that she's told. She said, you can tell people, say the N word in front of these people. She's also She also thinks that R. Kelly's not guilty. This is a black woman, y'all. So not only is she cozying up to a white supremacist, she actually is cozied up to a pedophile. So she seems like a grand kind of black woman that I would love not to ever be around. So I hope I never come in contact to this person's channel or what have you, because there's nothing worse than a self-hater. All right, moving on from that. Oh no, where'd it go? There we go. I lost you guys for a minute. So Mr. Sims wants to hear a Pinky story. Now, I've only had to use Pinky once. I've brought up Pinky out 3 times and threatened to use it, but once. So I used to bartend, and the place that I worked at was downtown. We closed around like 2. So Pinky, you know, I was waiting for my lift. Everyone was gone, and I was like, God damn it. I'm the only one standing here left waiting for my ride. This is after work. So the place where I work, you have some questionably crazy, questionably housed people that are around there. So this person comes up to me. They were intoxicated. Saw them coming around. I'm like, okay. So I put Pinky out on deck, meaning flip the lid a little bit. Don't take the sleeve out completely because I don't know. And this person was getting approaching closer and closer. So Pinky's sliding out a little bit more. I'm like, excuse me, you really, you need to get. Excuse me, what do you say? I'm sorry. What? Can I just? You have this, mind you, I don't know what the fuck this person's saying. They're high, intoxicated, all of the above. It's late at night. Where the fuck is my lift? This person's coming closer. Oh, Pinky, no. Oh, yeah, we gotta charge it. Pinky needs to be charged. Well, Pinky's on right now. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, Pinky gotta be charged. Well, basically, Pinky came out. Turn Pinky off so I don't shock myself. Pinky came out, and I got a little bit of him, just a little bit. Thank God my lift came. I didn't stay and wait. Just did. Ah, car's here. Time to go. Ooh, let me charge this so I won't have to, so I can have some juice for later, right? So that's the only one time I've had to use Pinky. I don't. Oh, shit. There we go. All right. So only one time. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see them pee their pants because I know that comes with the territory. So, yeah, the one time I had to use Pinky. I am going to eventually go to a gun club and learn how to shoot because I want to take out some aggression. I think, I probably would never own a gun because I'm a klutz and I can see myself accidentally shooting myself. Um, but I think it'd be wise for me to learn how to at least learn how to shoot, hold the gun correctly, get my target on point, not shoot like it's a fucking where's my favorite toy gun at? Not doing, yeah, boy. Don't shoot like it's Mrs. Sight. You don't shoot. You don't shoot like that. That's not how you shoot. You don't shoot sideways. That's how you miss your target. So, don't worry, kids. It's not a real gun. It's not a real gun. It's a toy gun. What did you say? Yes, get those likes up. And please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Please share this page. I am trying to get my get this channel growing. I'd be showing face on a lot of channels and what have you and chats. So I would really appreciate if you guys would share this. Please. Thank you. Thank you very much. I never understood why they shoot sideways. I don't either. Thank you, Mr. Sims. And the thing is, now we have a culture of people shooting the wrong way. Yes, we want to get to my boy Josiah. That's why I rock with you. Yes, Mr. Sims, we have now a culture of people, and unfortunately, those hood movies have caused fatalities. And when I say that, they've caused fatalities because now people follow these hood movies and think that is the way that you shoot a gun. And unfortunately, now you have people copying these hood movies and think that's how you shoot a gun. And unfortunately, that's how you kill, you know, you kill passersby. You kill pedestrians. You don't get the person that you're trying to get. Not saying that you should be shooting at anyone in the first place unless they come to your property, unless they threaten you. But what I'm saying is, unfortunately, those hood movies have taught a culture this is how you hold a gun. It looks really cool to shoot this way. Unfortunately, now we have bodies of children, women, and men who are dead because that person didn't know how to shoot. That person thought it was okay to hold a gun that way because it makes them look good. And it's just it's sad. So yeah, I plan on going to learn how to shoot properly. Mm, yeah. Let's see. What was some other stuff that happened this week? Oh, look. Oh, there was one more story I wanted to talk about. Why do people think it's okay to talk about kids? So I was in, I like going around in different sectors and stuff, and I was in the beef sector. I've been hanging out there. Um, but unfortunately, there was an incident that happened earlier this week that was quite disturbing. I think everyone was disturbed by that. Hello, Bloodsport. What's going on? No mas. Um, so this person decided to have a title. The title was on, hold on, let me see if they still have that up. Um, I wonder if they still have it up. Oh, I don't think they do anymore. Oh, yes. So and so's child was beaten into retardation. This is the name of this person's video. This person I was subscribed to, and I did unsubscribe to this person because I don't think it's appropriate to even put that up, especially when this person who did this video has had a incident themselves with DV. My thing is this: people who talk about people's children, their disabilities, or someone's dead parents or dead relatives, those are people who are losing. Those are usually the people, wow, that went away. Those are usually the people that have nothing else. They got nothing else in their clip. So why not take the cheap, ugly, disgusting, vile route rather than be creative? And I'm going to go after someone's child and their disability. How low can you go as a human being And especially as a woman, because women, we do have a little bit more nurturing spirits. But even, I mean, it's just very inhumane to make fun of someone's child because they have a disability. And then for you to say that they were beaten into retardation. Honey, if you, this person supposedly says they are college educated, but I don't see any education. I don't see even eighth grade here because you don't know how or why that child is the way it is. And for you, and then if this person that you speak of had an incident with being abused by their significant other, then who are you to poke fun of that when you went through the same thing? I just don't understand. I don't understand people's thinking sometimes. I think there's so many broken, mentally ill, and first of all, I have a bunch of loose screws. But the thing is, I have a little bit of critical common, a little bit. I have more than a little bit. I have common fucking sense. And I have a morale that I am not going to stoop to that low of I'm surprised this person left that video up there for starters. Just take the L. Just take the freaking L. Like, and then all week people were trying to interview her and I really was really disappointed in this person. I had to unsub. I can't, because if I'm gonna sit here and let Kiki, because he's still a Kiki to me. Hi, Ken. If I'm not gonna let him speak ill and vile, talking about what he would do to a child, and then let her get away with calling and saying that your child was beaten into retardation. First of all, they don't even use the word medically retardation anymore. You know that is a slur. You know, Bloodsport, it's nobody in this sector. They're in the beef sector. I did say her, so that's a clue. And I did give you the title of the the title of the her content that day. It's just disgusting. And then when these people who were interviewing her, she made it about herself. She said, "Well, what about when they called me retarded?" What? Who called? Wait, what does this have to do with you calling a child retarded? You, an adult, calling someone else's child that word, but you want to make it about you? That child can't defend themselves? Are you sure that you finished school? Are you sure that you finished eighth grade? Because I'm starting to wonder that you are mildly not here. Like, I just don't, hmm, I don't get it. Well, so they say they're canceling this person. I doubt that because that don't happen. I'm doubting that people are going to even cancel Misty. Yeah, I want people to cancel this person because maybe if you cancel her, and she'll probably stop making videos and not have anybody, you know, she won't be able to go on other people's platforms. But we know we know that she's not going to get canceled or whatever because it seems like this is a pattern that she's done before. You know, again, I'm slightly new to this area of YouTube, so this is not her first controversial. Well, I actually I did see that she did call the police on one of the content creators over nothing. I really think this person should seek a psychiatrist. You don't need to be on YouTube. A lot of people don't need to be on YouTube. If you have anger issues, if you're bipolar and you're not on your meds, if you're schizophrenic, not on your meds, if you are undiagnosed, you should not be in some of these sectors or maybe even on YouTube at all because I don't think a lot of people have the brain or stomach to handle this. Like some of the things that I hear these people are say are just so unlogical and they don't make I just anyway, let's see. I mean, from pull-ups to calling and making content on saying that this child was beaten into retardation. It's been a kind of oh, and let's not forget about Misty. You know, I worry about my mental health beyond here sometimes. Like, woo! I sometimes it's easy to like just shut it down. Shut it down. All right. Well, I'm gonna end this show. Ooh, we're out an hour and 30. And the dogs are about to go ape shit. So long, farewell. I'll meet you to the end. So long, farewell. I'll get you in the end. So long,